3, 2, 1. We have ignition and we have liftoff.
5 spacecraft from Earth are heading out of the solar system. In fact, 2 of them are already in interstellar space, and all 5 probably will be by 2050. Pioneers 10 and 11, Voyagers 1 and 2 and New Horizons were all launched on missions to the outer planets and have enough speed to break free of the Sun's gravitational pull. Where are they now, and where are they heading? First to be launched on March 2nd, 1972 was Pioneer 10. It became the first spacecraft to cross the asteroid belt and fly past Jupiter. At the time of its launch, mission controllers weren't even sure if it would survive its passage through the asteroid belt. After it did, they altered its trajectory to swing so close to Jupiter that the gravitational pull of the planet would accelerate the probe beyond the escape velocity from the solar system. Pioneer 10 was catapulted up and out of the plane of the planets. Contact with it was lost in 2003 when it was 12 billion kilometers from Earth. Its sister craft, Pioneer 11, was launched a year later, in April 1973, after it was known that the asteroid belt could be safely navigated. It followed a path past Jupiter that redirected it to an encounter with Saturn and its moons in 1979. Contact with it was lost in 1995. The twin Voyagers were launched 2 weeks apart in 1977. Voyager 1 went on to fly past Jupiter and Saturn, while Voyager 2 did a grand tour of all 4 large outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Both are still sending back science data despite their great age and distance, and both have crossed a boundary layer around the Sun called the magnetopause, where the Sun's magnetic influence ends and interstellar space begins. Last of the interstellar-bound craft to leave the launch pad was New Horizons, which began its journey to Pluto in 2006 and reached the dwarf planet 9 years later. In 2019, it made another historic encounter, the most distant to date, with the 36-kilometer-long Kuiper Belt object that's been named Arrokoth. All 5 spacecraft are now bound for the stars. The 2 Voyagers have already crossed the heliopause into interstellar space, a fact confirmed by their onboard science instruments. We're still in contact with both Voyagers and with New Horizons, and scientists can also accurately project the speed and location of the Pioneers, so we know where all these spacecraft are and where they're heading. Of course, none of the spacecraft was designed for interstellar travel, and they'll all be dead long before they get near any other stars. Of the 5, Voyager 1 is leaving the solar system at the highest speed, about 17 kilometers per second, but that's a snail's pace when faced with the huge distances between stars. At that rate, it would take tens of thousands of years to reach the nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, even if Voyager 1 was headed that way, which it isn't. Still, it's interesting to know which stars our 5 slow-moving interstellar craft will eventually fly past. The problem is, the stars are moving relative to the Sun, often much faster than the spacecraft themselves. Without knowing their precise speed and direction, it's impossible to say which ones our interstellar travellers are on course to meet. Fortunately, we now have that information. Corinne Baylor-Jones at the Max Planck Institute for Astronomy in Germany and David Farinocchia at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California extracted it from observations made by a space telescope called Gaia. Since 2014, Gaia has been sending back data that's enabled astronomers to build a detailed 3D map of our galaxy and the precise way in which stars, especially in the neighbourhood of the Sun, are moving. So now we know pretty well what the future holds. The first spacecraft to encounter another star will be Pioneer 10 in 90,000 years' time. It'll pass by the orange-red dwarf star HIP 117795 in the constellation Cassiopeia at a distance of 3/4 of a light year. That's about 7 trillion kilometers, or more than 1,000 times the distance of Pluto from Earth. Not what you'd call a close flyby, but it's about as good as it's going to get for these first interstellar wanderers for the next million years. In 300,000 years or so, Voyager 1 will go past a star called TYC 313552-1, but only at the remote distance of just under a light year. 900,000 years in the future, Pioneer 11 will pass another star by the name of TYC 992192-1, with 3/4 of a light year to spare. And that's it for the next million years. Voyager 2 will get to within 2 light years of the nearby star Ross 248 in 42,000 years' time, but it won't make it to within 1 light year of any star as far ahead as 5 million years. So far there have been no interstellar projections published for New Horizons. As for the future, it's impossible to say. All 5 spacecraft will probably roam the galaxy for many billions of years to come. In the event that intelligent aliens stumble across them, they carry messages designed to tell something about where they came from and who built them. Both Pioneers carry a plaque with information about their point of origin. Both Voyagers carry a gold disc, a long playing record with sights and sounds of Earth. Not for 100 million trillion years are they likely to collide with or be captured by the gravity of other stars. By that time, we'll be long gone, and even the galaxy itself will be ancient and dark.